honesty is what propels us on the way to self-improvement. At that point, I realized that it's not him who changed, but I did. Have you ever realized how difficult it is to see the good in yourself? Today I'm about to tell you why lies are destroying your life. I'm Marco, and hi again. I'm a guy who went from a really bad life to a life that I honestly enjoy and appreciate. And I'm here to share with you the steps I took to get to this point. And today I'll talk about honesty and lies, of course. You've probably noticed with little children, the small lies begin, "Mom, I didn't take the cookie, oh, she started it." And other lies that soon become excuses. "I didn't want to, but..." three dots. And as we grow, the lies become better, the excuses become smarter, and so we grow and improve ourselves as good liars. It's a skill most of us develop from childhood, teenage years, and so on. And as we grow older, naturally, as with all development, we grow better at it. And many of us start to lie to ourselves. "I can't do that, it's impossible, it's too hard for me, I'm just not talented enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or not fast enough." Have you told those lies to yourself at any time? Or "They don't like me, that's why I can't get friends," or "I'm too ugly to be accepted into the group," or whatever. Or "to get that job, to get the girl, to get the boy, I'm too awkward, I'm too fat, I'm too poor, or I'm a loser." And the problem with those lies is that the more we tell them to ourselves, the more we believe them. At the start it's just a lie, but the lie slowly becomes the truth, our truth. It's how we become losers. It starts as an excuse, you're just a liar, but slowly you start to believe you are a loser, you behave like a loser, and in the end you look and you are a loser. And it's not because the environment made you that way, or you were born lacking something, or people forced you into it, or the system is unjust. No, you started telling that simple lie, "I can't do it." And you said it so many times, you started believing it, and that's how you become a loser. You chose that path. We choose that path. And that's all with lies. You see, we shape our perception of ourselves, and with our perception, we shape the perception of people around us. It's like, with me, I learned that when I was still in high school. I was a competitive swimmer, and in our swim team there was a guy who could not stand me. I just looked at him without any emotion or any particular focus or thought or anything or intent, and he screamed at me or insulted me without any provocation. I could never understand that. I didn't understand why, and I still don't know why he reacted in that way exactly. But at that time I was because of bullying, I was carrying an enormous amount of rage. I was really good at suppressing emotion, and that carried over to rage very well. And during summer break, I went to an event that managed to come to a point where I was enraged. And I was terrified of losing that control, so I was very good at keeping that rage contained, but at that moment I totally lost it. And I started punching random objects into the apartment, the walls and everything, and only later I realized that was my way of releasing that rage without actual harm to anybody except my own hands and myself. And that was how I was free of that rage. I just had to let it go. And the funny thing is, when I came back from summer break, we had the first practice of the season, and that same colleague that could not stand me before greeted me with a smile, and our relationship became harmonious after that. We were friendly. We weren't the best of friends, we didn't hang out together, but we could have a normal, decent human relationship without arguing, without fighting, with nothing, just jokes, normal conversation, just normal. And at that point I realized that it's not him who changed, but I did. I let go of that rage, and for some strange reason, people sensed it. His reaction was not the only defensive one. I had many people were reacting defensively in my surroundings, and until I released that rage, I had constant conflicts. But after, people suddenly liked me. And that was one of the truths that I admitted to myself, that it was my fault. It was a difficult one. But I accepted it as my truth, that for all my difficulties, all my problems, I am responsible. It is my fault. It is my problem. And it's not a matter of guilt or taking responsibility, or in a way it is, but if it's your problem, then it's also your job to fix it. It's your duty, right? I mean, we all have these different emotional reactions. We get angered by a myriad of different things, or we are put into situations where we react emotionally to it. For instance, crazy drivers. Who loves them or who doesn't? Usually we meet a crazy driver with screams, with bad words, with anger, how they should be jailed or their license should be taken, etc. And it's understandable, it's perfectly normal, they're endangering everyone around them. But the question is, and a question I asked myself, why am I angry? And I think it's a question we all should ask ourselves. Why are we angry? I mean, it's perfectly reasonable to dislike that behavior, it's even morally right. But we have no obligation to be angered by it. I mean, okay, we get scared by it because it's dangerous, but why are we angry? Have you ever asked yourself that? Oh, I did. And I realized he triggered something in me. His behavior, his reckless driving provoked an emotional response in me. Something he touched, something that hurt. And that digging helped me to release it. And now when I see crazy drivers, I stay calm. I dislike them and I try my best not to be like them, but I'm not angry. They don't provoke me anymore. I learned that in every situation where we react without control, when our emotions surge and overwhelm us, it's not because of that exact situation. It's just that that situation acted as a trigger for something that was already in us. Because, for instance, with the rage for raging at crazy drivers, we wouldn't be angry. That anger could not come out of us if it wasn't inside us already. And this is again where we are not allowed to lie ourselves, because if we tell the simple lie, it's that driver's fault that I'm angry. So he or she should change the way she drives. That's difficult, because the driver is having fun driving like a maniac, or he's hurrying to the hospital or whatever. But you are feeling the rage. And that rage has to be released somehow, and usually we chose those who can defend themselves. Someone in the family, at our work, some unknown person on the street, or the serving girl in the cafe, or whatever. And they're not at fault. We just spread the bad mood and people disliked us because of it. Or our families suffer, and that's, I believe, something that none of us want to see. And that is why we have to be honest. It's our anger. It is in us. That's the truth. And we have to dig out the reason why. And usually that reason is that little traumatic event from our childhood or early teenage years. And we find that little child inside of us crying or screaming for help because of a small hurt a long time ago that we allowed to fester inside of us. Or a mean word from our parents or friends that they forgot 10 minutes later, and we, maybe 15, 50 years, depends how honest we are with ourselves. And we just need to hug that little child, let it scream it out, cry it out. And when the hurt is gone, the child grows stronger, it grows up a bit, and we are stronger for it. It is us, our mini us, a miniature version. And this is how we grow as a person. And the more we grow, the better our lives become. That's why it is important to embrace honesty, first to ourselves, and if we're strong enough or brave enough, even to others. We avoid so many problems by doing it. I mean, we can still say the truth in a kind and gentle way, even if somehow or sometimes it's difficult. But it's a good practice, I believe, not to hurt people unduly. But anyway, honesty is what propels us on the way to self-improvement. And we always need to be honest enough with ourselves to be aware that we are responsible for the way we feel, and it is our decision to feel hurt or angered. So, once you take the path of honesty, it is really hard. Admitting your own faults, it was brutal for me. But now when I look back again at what I did, when I looked into the mirror and simply told myself all the faults I saw in myself, that was cruel to me, almost brutal. And I felt terrible. But you know, it helped me fix them, to face them head on. But you know what was even harder? Admitting the good that was in me. To stand before the mirror and tell myself the good things about me. It's a standard practice for many life coaches or anyone, but have you ever realized how difficult it is to see the good in yourself? For me, that was one of the hardest things I had to do. Because that too is honesty, to see both the bad, which we are usually brilliant at, and the good. Because without the good, we see this small blemish we carry or mistake we made. For instance, my beard isn't quite as full as my friends. And because my beard is not as full, my entire face is ugly because of it. Or it's just like my shoe got dirty and suddenly it's not the shoe it's dirty, it's bad. The shoe should be thrown away because it's dirty. Sounds a bit unreasonable, doesn't it? Or another good example about honesty. The dog is barking and it infuriates me. But it's the dog's fault because it's barking. That makes me angry. It's always the dog's fault. And to help our anger, the dog would have to shut up. And honestly, I have a dog and I never had that much luck with him to shut up. That's just not his thing. And I quickly learned that if I want my dog to be silent, he either has to be eating, sleeping, or I have to shoot him. I did not want to do that. I love my dog. I felt that an extreme solution, but if I did shoot him, he would never bark again, and I would not get angry about it, of course. I did not like the options, so I stopped getting angry about him barking, and that helped. Also with facing other dogs that were barking, or people that were barking at me. That's all I achieved by being honest with myself. It's not my dog's fault that I'm angry, it's my own. So I wish you that you are honest with yourself, with your loved ones, with everyone else, because the faults we see in ourselves are so much greater than the faults others see in us. We are, all of us, very talented about judging ourselves harshly and being soft on others. Everybody is better than us, the way we see it. But that's a lie. Just ask them. They'll see you better as them. And that's a lie again. So be honest. We're all in the same sauce. We all have this similar problems. Different, but similar. And all those, or not all, but many of those problems started with those small lies we began saying in our earliest childhood, and we so skillfully developed in the later years. So I invite you all that we together be honest to ourselves and everyone else, so that we can live a life that's worth living. And one of the steps to honesty, I believe, and the first step at this point, is admitting that this video is really good, so you should give it a like. And because you like that video so much, you should just subscribe so you can see more of them in the coming weeks and months. I promise, and I do my best to be honest, that I will make many more videos for you to enjoy, and see you next time. Bye!